Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as listening skies. Let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Oh, sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Hi, my name is Carla McCullough, and I am the creative behind College Reunion. The movie tells a story about three women who reconnect for their 45th HBCU College Reunion. While the story is fictional, I have a long-standing connection to HBCUs from my time as a student at Spelman College. After leaving Spelman, I moved to Los Angeles as a Teach for America Corps member. This experience helped me gain a deeper understanding of our educational system, its strengths, and the pain points. My time working in schools impacted the way that I view the world. So while I'm excited to pursue my artistic passions and direct my first film, I cannot forget that the inequalities facing minority children today means many Black students won't get to experience their own college reunion without a little help. This is where you come in. This is why College Reunion is more than a movie. We want to use our platform to uplift underserved communities and spark social change. One of those communities is students in K-12, and specifically Black students. At the end of the 2021-22 school year, chronic absenteeism in California alone was at 30%. This means that 30% of the students statewide in K-8 were absent from school for 15 days or more. The percentage for Black students, more than 42%. For many schools, this data continues to be a reality halfway through the 2022-23 school year. College Reunion presents a unique opportunity for a movie to make a difference in the world, even before it reaches your screens. I invite you to continue watching to learn more about our mission and College Reunion. After all, why just make a movie when you can change the world?
You feel it from the moment you enter our campus. It's a legacy of greatness. We are the Golden Lion family, committed to innovation and truth. We all come from different places, but now call the Pride Lands home. Whether it's the sciences, arts, or business, we're shaping the minds that one day will reshape the world. The University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Become a part of the Pride.
Hi, I'm Shaniqua Reed, one of the producers of College Reunion and its first AD. I attended University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Who are you rooting for? You, APB, where I pledged Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Ooh, pinkies in. Sisterhood and recognizing Black culture are important to me. So I'm excited to be a part of the College Reunion production team. As Carla mentioned, College Reunion is a movie with a mission to its core. The threefold mission is to support students in K-12, uplift Black women, and spotlight HBCUs. We are declaring January 28th, 2023, our official launch, starting with our mission. This means we need you to call students in your family, neighborhood, and school communities back to school. We want everyone to have an opportunity at their own college reunion. An organization with a similar mission of supporting students on their way to college is the College Resources Foundation. Let's learn a bit more about their major event, the Black College Expo.
Our series, A More Perfect Union, shows that what unites us as Americans is far greater than what divides us. And this morning, we highlight a trailblazer who's opening up new worlds of possibility. Jamie Yukas introduces us to Teresa Price, who created the Black College Expo to help close the education gap in underserved communities and change lives.
Routines get students excited about school, but each step at the Black College Expo is toward a brighter future, with students getting scholarships on the spot. Lauren Crawford recalls how the expo changed his life.
I remember growing up and thinking that if I wanted to make $1 million, I had to be an athlete or a musician. What Black College Expo showed me is that no, you can be an engineer.
From valedictorian to PhD, Crawford is now a senior researcher at Microsoft and a professor at Brown because the expo opened doors.
I am amazing! Amazing!
Teresa Price is the pioneering powerhouse who first launched the expo 2 decades ago. She's helped more than 500,000 people get into college.
I just love seeing their eyes brighten up when they know they can do it. That's my warm and fuzzy, my vice, my everything.
This is Price's second act after a successful career in radio and marketing.
I thought I was gonna be a big record producer. I was doing deals with Clive Davis. God said, nope, this is not what you're here for. But I love it.
Her mission changed in 1996. That's when voters passed Prop 209, banning affirmative action at California's public universities.
I want to change the world. I don't like what I see. So instead of talking about it, what am I going to do about it? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Fired up, Price harnessed her professional connections to create the first Black College Expo in Los Angeles. 35,000 people showed up.
They were waiting in line, and guess what happened? They sent out the riot gear police.
There were so many people of color?
I think it was so many black people standing in line, 2.5 hours, and they thought it was gonna be a riot. And we were like, what the heck? And everybody was just in line for education. $1,000 scholarship, woo!
Due to the pandemic, the expos are virtual, but the needs are greater than ever.
I heard you take phone calls in the middle of the night, in the early morning.
Yeah.
You'll do anything for these kids.
I'll do anything. I know it's bad. It's bad. It's good though, but it's bad. I just want them to know that there are great things out there waiting for them and they can do anything.
About 85% of the students come from single parent or foster homes, and some, like 20-year-old Devin Williams, are homeless.
There was points in time I was sleeping in cars, sleeping at parks.
Raised in a violent home, Williams was 12 when he found his mother dead from alcohol poisoning.
At first, I was in a dark place. I'm not gonna lie. Like the first couple, 2 years, I was probably in a really dark place.
He met Price at a Black College Expo, and she helped him find his way.
Miss Price is my guardian angel for real. Like whenever I'm having a tough time, and I know I have nowhere else to go, and I'm just like, she's always had my back.
COVID has created desperate situations. Price answers every call for food, money, even laptops, so students can continue learning and thriving.
I cry a lot, but they're tears of joy too because a lot of them see that they can do it. I feel like that text, that call, it's only a minute. To say, hey, I believe in you. And if we all did that, we'll have a better world.
And while the classroom shows students the light, Price shows them the love, where they can then create their own wonderful world. For CBS This Morning, Jamie Yukas, Los Angeles.
Teresa Price, like everything about her.
Yeah, no kidding.
Helping kids is just her happy place. And it's infectious watching her help other people.
500,000 kids to college because of her helping hand.
Yeah.
Jamie Yukas introduces us to the nicest people.
Yeah, we love her.
Yeah,
You're watching CBS This Morning. We'll be right back.
My name is Lauren Crawford. I'm a PhD in statistical science here at Duke University. High school, I was playing sports. My dream school actually was Stanford. I remember opening a letter with my parents, and my mom looked at me after she saw the tuition price, and she was like, yo, there's no way you're going here. How I actually ended up going to Clark was Teresa Price told me that I should come down to the College Expo, so I went down there with my resume and my SAT scores, and I ended up getting into 10 schools on the spot, one of them being Clark Atlanta University, and actually ended up giving me a full ride. So actually my first year, what I ended up doing was I went to Clark and I gave myself like no TV, and I studied like hard. Kobe Bryant shoots X amount of shots every day to perfect his craft. And so the way I perfected my craft in undergrad was I did problems. I did math problems all the time, all day, every day. I loved it. It wasn't work to me. It was just something I really wanted to do. I really wanted to be good at it. I shot my equivalent of however many jump shots a day in the books. The cool thing about an HBCU is that they really want to see you succeed. The stuff that you can learn at HBCU, I think it's the intangibles. It was about becoming confident in who I am and knowing who I am. Being able to walk into a room with no matter who's in that room, me being standing strong in my convictions and knowing, you know, what I stood for and what I like to do and what my talents are, and being unapologetically who I am. That was culture at an HBCU. My mom had given me the advice that I should apply for grad school and just see what happens. And so I remember meeting this guy, Mike West, who was the director of graduate studies for my department here. And he was instrumental in getting me here. The best thing that he told me that made me really want to come here is he made sure that I knew that statistics and PhDs and academia and degrees and all these other things were only a small portion of your life. And that if I came here, that I would really get a better feel and a better balance of making me a well-rounded person. They pitched to me that they wanted to make me a total package, plus the stipend and the fellowship didn't hurt. I wanted to be fulfilled in everything I did. Both of my grandmothers died of breast cancer, and so that was, you know, there's obviously an underlying motivation there. I want to continue to bring up new things that people haven't thought about before. I want my career to be about learning and growing and then progressing.
Well, for starters, I am a junior in high school, and I just really want to get out there and try and figure out what college is best for me, because I already have a goal in my mind. I want to be an athletic trainer, and that's just my #1 goal, and the Black Expo is really amazing in helping with that.
This day is about bringing in the house of all the rich resources, sharing the history and legacy of HBCUs, having other universities share their university and their history, and as well as looking for diversity, and also bringing in resources, our Black history resources. You know, just information to inspire, empower, and motivate students to do their best, to be their best, and providing the access and the pathway really for them to get there. That's what today's all about.
It was important for me to be here today because I'm a senior. I'm looking forward to going to college. So with the colleges here today, it was a great opportunity to get accepted on the spot and to get some scholarship money along with it. So now it's just a matter of deciding where I want to go.
You get multiple perspectives, and you get to talk to people from the school, as well as meet new people and communicate with different businesses.
We're happy to be here today to bring 5 busloads of students from Linwood Middle Schools, as well as our comprehensive high schools and our continuation schools, to gain information, access, college acceptances, and scholarships on the spot.
College Reunion is more than a movie, it's a movement. In addition to creating an entertaining film, our mission is threefold. Within the film production and surrounding promotions, we will uplift Black women and spotlight HBCUs. Throughout this process, we will support students in K-12, specifically by highlighting nonprofits that help students get through their educational journey and on the path to their own college reunion. We can only do this mission-driven work with your help. Donate today to our tax-deductible budget. Your donation ensures that we can make a quality film and that we can include you in the process as we go. So keep watching to learn more and donate. Every dollar matters.
In order to attend an HBCU or any college, you must first graduate from high school. Since the pandemic, K through 12 student attendance has been significantly impacted. This is why, to activate College Reunion, the movement, we are addressing the challenge of chronic absenteeism. We are excited to begin the production process for College Reunion, the movie, and we want to ensure that little Black girls and boys everywhere can make college reunions their reality.
This STEAM camp is important for a number of reasons. It uses project-based learning, where the students are learning through projects, but more importantly, it has an emphasis on higher education as well as cultural relevancy. When the students came into the camp, most of them had no idea what HBCUs were. I was heavily inspired by Beyonce's Homecoming. So for our culminating project, we decided to do a single shot music video that we had to produce in one take. So the students spent 4 weeks preparing for this. Staff and students prepared artwork and banners and all different types of things. Teaching students about HBCUs through the project is what it was all about. This project is designed to restore hope in the community, restore hope in the students, and say you can do anything you want to do.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. More than power, never, ever, after work is over. Work it, make it, do it, makes us
They're coming, they're coming!
Stronger than ever. Hour after hour, work is never over.
Okay, wait a minute. Isn't this a telethon? What's the number for me to call and donate?
So actually, you can donate online at collegereunion.com/donate now, or you can mail in your donation via check. Make that check out to Brace Yourself Inc., and you can mail that to 300 Long Beach Boulevard, Long Beach, California, 90802. And then that's number 644.
So I can't call to donate?
No, but we would like you to make a phone call though. We actually want you to call students back to school. So if there's any child you know who attends school but not regularly, give them a call, encourage them, remind them that education is the thing that's going to change the world.
Okay, that sounds good, but honey, I only know grown folks. If you want me to donate to this movie, I need to know what it's about.
Okay, well, it's about 3 women who reconnect for their 45th HBCU.
I saw that. What I mean is, who are the men in it? Spell the T.
Well, we're still casting the men.
Sweetie, what's taking so long?
Well, donations, right? What help speed up the casting process.
Oh, okay. That's all you need. You need some money. I can send you $20.
Okay,
I can send you some ones too. Do I get a pick of the litter?
Hey, I mean, you can also send us a list of folks who you may be interested in seeing.
Really?
Yeah. You have some suggestions?
I do like Clifton Davis, Robert Townsend, Tim Reed's nice to look at. Oh, and you can't forget Keith David. Oh, you cannot forget him.
All right, okay, we're taking notes. And we're taking donations. Don't forget
the notes, take the names, take the money, because I got it, baby. It's gonna be fame.
Love it. Thank you. Every little bit helps. Donate now.
My name is Laura McGowan Robinson. I am the founder and CEO of Diversity and Leadership Institute. Research shows that TK through 12 students in California, particularly students of color, experience better outcomes when they're in schools led by educators of color. But far too often, this is not the case. In California, approximately 60% of public school students are Black or Latinx. Yet, less than 1/3 of the schools have a Black or Latinx leader. The mission of DLI is to create equitable outcomes for Black and Latinx students by building a movement of racially diverse and culturally responsive public education leaders. We foster conditions that increase retention among public school educators of color, encourage advocacy, enable collaboration among schools and their community, and ultimately create equitable outcomes for historically marginalized students.
Research shows that educators of color have a positive impact on all students. That's why I'm a member of the DLI. Currently, there's a shortage of educators of color, especially Black teachers and school leaders, working with our students in California public schools. But the DLI intends to change that by amplifying the great work that's already happening out there in our schools and by supporting more aspiring school leaders of color along that pipeline towards school leadership.
What stood out most to me about the Diversity and Leadership Institute wasn't the people, although it's made up of an incredible group of leaders. It was not even our leader, Dr. Laura McGowan Robinson, though she is a fearless leader. It was the data. Now, we spend millions of dollars every year trying to address the disparate educational outcomes that we see in our world today. We try to make kids grittier. We extend hours in the school day. But school leaders of color affect these outcomes so much more than many of these interventions. And so I'm excited to begin to unpack that data, to highlight the excellence we're seeing in leaders of color, and to figure out how all teachers can learn from them. I'm also excited to learn from those leaders about what they need, how we can support them even as they support our kids.
At DLI, we do 4 things. 1, build capacity through our Aspiring Principal of Color Fellowship. 2, foster community building and networking through our School Leader of Color Network. 3, consult with districts, charters, and nonprofit organizations to build racially equitable and inclusive environments for educators of color. And 4, build coalitions to advocate for policy and practices that create more racially equitable and inclusive conditions for educators of color.
It is so important to have Black and Brown educators present and prominent in schools that contain more than just Black and Brown students. Educators that can lead with a steady hand, yet understand and work to meet the needs of their students. I'm asking that as leaders and teachers, you pledge to continue learning and growing, to remember that your actions can bring a significant change in a student's life. I ask that you pledge to work towards incorporating more Black and Brown teachers, counselors, and administrators on campuses.
So today, I invite you to join our movement in creating K-12 public school systems across the state of California that are more reflective of the students and families that they serve. Thank you so much.
There is a lot of problem in our education system. There is no quality of education being provided, especially our students of color are underserved, underrepresented. They have been highly marginalized.
I wanted to be a leader because I'm like, I can actively see this problem. People aren't actually doing what they need to do to fix it. So maybe I can help facilitate this process.
And I want to make sure that they're not lost in these numbers.
DLI was birthed through my own experiences being a leader of color and often finding that I was one of few or the only person of color in rooms with other leaders making decisions about kids who look like me.
Diversity in leadership, first, it has opened my eyes about what school leadership is.
It's really special. It is really looking at it at a lens of diversity and how are we serving our students of color and how are we supporting our educators of color, and it's really doing something very different that most credential programs are not doing.
We cover 100% of our fellows' tuition to be a part of the Diversity and Leadership Aspiring Principal of Color Fellowship.
DLI changed everything for me. If it wasn't for the scholarship, I would find contentment as a teacher. The support, financially and holistically, it feels really good.
Gonna present about my project today, and it's gonna be about supporting Black male students.
The last year and a half has been great. We brought in our inaugural cohort in August of 2021. And since then, and what we're celebrating is the culmination of that first cohort.
It's been good. It's been challenging. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot through the process. I feel like I've created a network too.
One of the main things that I enjoyed about DLI is the cohort system.
It's very valuable. Just having the support of our professors and the student cohorts from cohort 1 and from the cohort that I'm currently in, and our coaches. It's like everywhere I turn, I'm supported by DLI.
I'm with a team, and that's gonna last a long time. Once we finish the program and we branch out to different places, we'll always have one another.
It's a pleasure for me to welcome you to the very first DLI LMU Aspiring Principals of Color Fellowship culmination.
It's amazing to finish. It's amazing to be able to do it with a cohort.
When I first got into the program, I wasn't ready for actually getting into the school system and being the leader there. I wasn't ready for the principalship. But if you ask me right now if I felt more capable, if I felt like I could do the job tomorrow, I would absolutely say that I could.
We need more Black teachers. We need more Black administrators. This project supports Black teachers in becoming leaders, and Black leaders bring in Black teachers.
An investment in the work of Diversity and Leadership Institute is an investment in future generations, and not just the generations of the students and families that we're serving, but an investment in the leaders that we serve and their families.
Hi, my name is Portia Smith and I'm one of the Los Angeles cohort fellows of the DLI program. And I just wanted to share with you a little bit of how awesome this program is, what it's already done for me, and what I know it can do for my future, my development, and my growth. So being in this program is a dream come true. Just from the moment that I applied to the program to the interview process, I knew that it was for me. I was brought to tears at the amount of support that I got from the instructors, professors, the interviewers, just seeing so many Black and brown people in leadership roles, and to greet all of my professors as doctor, knowing that I have the same aspirations, and just seeing that one day that could be me as well. In my first semester's courses with my professors, it was an eye-opening experience learning about equality and equity in the way that this program teaches it. I have little words to describe it. It's life-changing. And that's what I want to say now. I'm in the process of taking and going on this journey, and I can feel myself changing. I can still feel myself learning, changing, and growing as a result of this program. From the very first class, I understood that this would be different. Through the completion of this class, my first classes, and my first Cal APA cycle, I started to believe that I could. And I have received nothing but support at every single turn. This program will be the best thing that's ever happened to me, because I know that I'm going to complete it with the best of everything I have in me, and I'm going to be able to articulate and bring out what's so deep, and the love, care, and nurture that I have for Black and brown students within my district, and be able to share that anywhere I go, and be able to stand firm in my understanding and belief of equity and equality for all students. So again, I just feel like the DLI program has helped me to vocalize and to feel as though I belong, feel as though I'm supported, and feel as though the sky is the limit. And I know that's a little cliche, but with this program behind me, being in this program, my mentors, my professors, I really don't feel like there's anything that I couldn't handle, that there's any obstacle that I can't make it through.
Michael, did you fix your bike? I became a teacher because I was inspired by a teacher. When I was a grade 6 student,
I saw you outside. I don't want you to miss learning.
I have always wanted to promote quality education, making sure every student have access to what they deserve. So I wanted to impact and influence many more students. And that can only be possible when I am in a leadership position.
Hey, Michael, you're the best vice principal ever.
Thank you, thank you. I needed to understand the school system from leadership point of view. And DLI, Diversity in Leadership, gave me all the things that I needed to understand the education system, especially when it comes to leadership. I'm very proud of you. DLI helped me to transition from the classroom to leadership as well, all the way from applying to a leadership position, preparing me for interviews, preparing me to prepare all the materials needed for my application, and mentoring me. So all the professors, program directors in diversity and leadership, they have been instrumental in my transition from the classroom to leadership. How are you doing, Brian? Are you going to enjoy the lunch? Our students deserve to have an educator and a leader who looks like them, like who understands them, who comes from the same culture, who comes from the same community. So promoting diversity in leadership is very important and instrumental in creating equitable educational opportunities for students of color. Look at you, Amir! I'm very proud to be the first cohort of DLI. I'm very proud of the choice I made to join DLI. And for those who are planning to go into educational leadership, DLI is the place to be.
Hey, Auntie.
Hey, I saw you on the computer screen, girl.
Did you?
I did. Are you gaining weight?
The camera adds 10 pounds, Auntie.
If you say so. Anyway, I just called all the neighborhood kids and told them to get in school ASAP.
It's Saturday, though.
What that mean? You said they've been chronically absent. Seems to me if you miss too many days, you should go to school on Saturday too. Make up for it. Shoot, they should go to school on Sunday too. Anyway, I called to get the address again. I'm going to send you a little something for your movie.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Auntie. You're the best. You ready for the address?
Yep, I got my book right here.
Okay. All right. So the address is 300 Long Beach Boulevard, Long Beach, California, 90802. And it's number 644.
644. Okay. All right. Long Beach. Wait a minute. That's where that Snoop boy lives, right? I heard them say you need some men for the movie. You should get him. He's cute.
You a mess, Auntie. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying. He's stupid.
In a city with such high numbers of homeless youth, such high numbers of foster youth, there's really no other option but to create something that is going to be different, something that's going to really rethink the needs of those communities. And the work that we're doing is really to provide equity for communities who have never seen that.
I went through the foster system. We got taken away from our mother. Come on, guys. Growing up without a mother and a father, I kind of knew that I need to do stuff on my own, and it was time to catch up on my credits, and I knew school was the way. So I came back to school. It's called scholarship. Learn something.
A lot of our students are coming and facing a lot of different challenges outside the school. And we're trying to learn how to be there for them as much as we can.
It doesn't work for them to be in a classroom around 8 to 4 every day. So they can take the classes that they need at their own pace and their own time.
When you're done, you're gonna grade yourself, but make sure that the grammar, spelling, writing mechanics are on target.
I thought it, I felt it, I'm like, this is too much work, I can't do it. But just the support that I get from my teachers, it just keeps me going, and it just motivates me.
Why is mentorship important? It increases high school graduation rates and better attitudes towards school.
I thought this time was a lot stronger.
Just own it. You just own it. It's yours.
Thank you. Thank you.
What does it take to access you when you're not stable, when you're transient? So we're thinking about a mobile learning center where we can travel with students, or students can access us at different points.
This school can really change people. I was antisocial. I didn't smile at all. I didn't speak. And I really wasn't coming to school. Now I come to school every day. Every day I'm at school. I'm proud of graduating. I'm proud of the kids I'm around. I want everybody to graduate.
Thank you for helping shape Rise into not only a school, but a place I can call home. Congratulations, class of 2017.
School of success, that's the future, that's the way out. That's the key.
Welcome, Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I want to start off with something that, anyone who watched our episode with you and then maybe Googled you will probably come across an LA Times article with your face all over it. And at the ripe old age of 26, you were featured in the LA Times along with your co-founder of Rise, Carrie Croft. So shout out to Carrie. Because you had just recently won the XQ Super School competition to get startup funding to kind of launch and create Rise, right? So give our audience a little bit of a sense of what that process was like and kind of what it means to be an XQ Super School.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was an incredible experience, and it really fast-tracked us into becoming school leaders and becoming cognizant of politics and the world around us. But I would say, first and foremost, Carrie absolutely founded the school. She wrote the petition and began drafting while she was at Harvard. And so then during that time, we were having conversation about the youth that were not being served well. And so I jumped on right when she came back to LA and started working with the Da Vinci schools. And so through that, we started to get groups of people together, most importantly, students who were in the foster care system or who had experienced housing instability, along with attorneys. We worked with Children's Law Center. So every student with an open case goes there at least once a week for court, or once a month for court. We worked with School on Wheels. So we had incredible partnerships that helped us really rethink how education could best meet the needs of youth who are homeless foster. And then later on, we realized that probation was a part of that cycle. We did not originally have that as the population that we were actually intending to serve. But what we did know within the first few weeks of serving students is that if we could really kind of create a school that was positive and affirming and rigorous and powerful for youth in foster care or who are experiencing homelessness, it would be a great school for any kid. And so I think having that be the bar and understanding that allowed us to move forward. I would say, yeah, being young and jumping into that experience was incredible, but we really had to figure out how to meet the right people, how to introduce ourselves to people who are doing this work long before us, right? Who are these two young people starting a school that not only touches education as an industry or as a kind of faction of the work, but also touches the foster care system, social, all of those different systems. And so we really had to get ahead of it and try our best to meet and learn from all of the people who have been in that work for so long. And so I think that was one of the most intense pieces is, okay, so now you have to start a school, continue to enroll kids, adjust to the kids that are coming into the building and create a positive culture, while also thinking about creating strong relationships with people who are doing the work in the industry, and continue to get sleep at night. And so I think that was
that last part being maybe the most difficult.
Yeah, the one that we probably failed at the most. It has been incredible work and continues to be, but we're still juggling all of those things at once because it's important. I think being young in this work, we had to take a learner stance. We could not come into this as people who had an idea fueled by youth and just say that like we are the only ones who have this idea, we're the only ones who can do this. We had to come into it, with the understanding that there are people who are doing this already. And I think what we had to offer was how do we unsilo these really incredible organizations and people so that youth can experience them all within one powerful way versus having to travel and move from one place to the other to talk to their social worker, to meet with their attorney, to then go to school. And so then they're being punished by all these systems for having to run around them. And so RISE hopes to create one safe haven where all of these systems are in place, where the social worker can come to the school, the attorney can come to the school, the teacher is already there. And so that youth can get one experience and be able to be students.
So maybe you can share a little more about like what that actually looks like, right? People, RISE is a relatively small school. You have 100 or so
at
students
each site.
At each site. So about 200 total, and 2 different sites currently, although may be expanding. Maybe describing a little bit about like the MHT, the mental health team at the school, because it's just different than a like typical public school. And like when you count up the adults on campus and how many of them are teachers versus how many of them are people who do more sort of case management, and I don't know if that's the right language to use, but who help kids with the other stuff in life. And your students are all dealing with lots of other stuff in life. Maybe tell us a little bit more about like really what that looks like and how that maybe makes RISE special and different.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess to start with staffing, since that's kind of where the conversation led, is we have a mental health team, which is an outstanding group of professionals from a social worker, counselor, psychologist, who are all there to support our kids. We have amazing behavior interventionists who support our students with anything from anger management to coping skills to learning how to collaborate and work in a collaborative environment when a lot of our students are coming from probation settings, from juvenile justice settings. And so what does it mean to create strong, healthy relationships? And so we realized very, very quickly that we actually needed an entire staff to support students with the things that were taken away from them, given the system of moving from place to place, given the system of trauma that they've been a part of. And so I would say staffing is the most important piece of the puzzle. I think often we don't think about what's under the soil. What are the emotions, what is the trauma that are leading to the actions? We just think of actions. And often as in education, that is where we can reach, is the actions, right? So let's punish this with a suspension, let's punish this with an expulsion, but we're not realizing the way that the system has actually created these actions and these experiences breeding from trauma. And so that's the first piece. We also realized that foster youth on average are switching schools, at least once a year. And it's happening all the time. And so when that happens, they're often losing months and months and months of instruction, and then they're often getting punished for being behind in school.
Yeah.
And so how are these systems having blind spots, or just things that we're not paying attention to or intentionally ignoring, that are hurting our youth? And so we have flexible scheduling to ensure that our students don't need to disenroll when they have stints of court dates or different things that are going on, and they can continue to do that. We have a lot of pregnant and parenting teens, so flexible scheduling allows them to have a job, often on our campus through internships, but also offsite if needed, so that we can say, like, we can prioritize your needs. You do not need to disenroll because you're in survival mode right now. We're actually going to pull you in, we can help you with that. And so another part of the model is co-locating with organizations that have done the work longer than us and who have instilled roots in the community. And so that allows us to kind of fast track trust and serve the kids that we are seeking to serve. And so I think at RISE, we really focus, and we have the ability to focus on that too, because the mental health team trains our teachers, and our teachers train our mental health team. And so now there is no silo worlds of this is what educational standards and what I'm expecting you to reach, and here's what social emotional skill sets I'm expecting you to reach. Actually, we realize how intertwined they are because our staff is intertwined and they understand each other and they communicate. And so the soil being that holistic piece, the grass being the behavioral, the manifestations of that soil, right? If the soil is dry, then the grass is going to look a certain way. If the soil is rich, the grass is going to look a certain way. But without that soil, the grass isn't there. And so I think often in education, we're taught to behavior manage, right? What is behavior manage? The behavior is the secondary piece. So we're just managing the top. We're not actually getting to the soil, to the pieces that started it. And often that's where we are told that that's where your job ends. You can't control what happens at home, right? That's like something you're told often as a teacher. But what can you control in terms of checking in on your students and where they are, and what kind of grace can you provide a kid who's been through a lot? And what if they could tell you what they've been through? What if they could tell a peer what they've been through, and what kind of space can you create in your classroom? And then from that grass, right, and that soil is where the actual flower grows. But we know that until those two things are healthy, there's no flower, right? There could be a seed, but the flower is not going to start growing until those things are healthy and taken care of. And then the sun being their ultimate goal, right? And so, like, what is that process, and how do we start there? And so I think if RISE can at least share that mentality with educators across the nation, and we know that exists in other places, we don't think we created it per se, but really make it something that is normative, right? Where we know that youth have experiences that lead to their actions, that then lead to their ability to learn, that then lead to their ability to reach their goal. We go in the reverse of that. And so I think that is the huge piece with beyond the model, beyond the staffing. That's what we hope to share with the world, is how do we see the youth as their full person, and allow them to bring their whole identity into the room so that we can work with it and support them and empower them accordingly.
The core of our work as educators is being about like helping to bring forth life, right? And not in the birthing sense, right? But in the sense of like that, who you are when you're 5 and who you are when you're 18 or 21 when you leave the system is the difference between a seed and a rose, right? If we do our job well. Right. And so, that certainly resonates with me. And Aaron, I want to thank you again for sticking around for this this episode extra with us. I think the work that you and Carrie and the team at RISE are doing is critically important work in our field and in our city. And just appreciate you coming on and sharing a bit of that with us today.
Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right. Folks, thanks for joining us on this episode extra. As always, you can find all of our content at aotashow.com. Please like this post. Please share it with folks who might find it interesting or might want to learn a little bit more about these kinds of topics. And every little bit you do helps us get the word out. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Two, three.
My name is Anna Marie DeFelice. I am the coordinator of Student Support Services here at RISE. One of the things I want to share with you guys all is how I came to be part of the community of RISE. There are so many passionate, dedicated staff here, and we've all kind of found our own way, our own narrative here as part of our family at RISE, providing services to our kids. We use that kind of passion and our own narrative to tap into, to provide not just our support for our students, but understanding, empathy, and tapping into our own narratives of what brought us here. Our students also can see that level of authenticity that we all bring to the table when we provide our individual direct services for our kids. Altogether, I would say that our community, our RISE community, is dedicated to ensuring that our kids have access to the curriculum as well as a path forward towards success at whatever it is that they define as success for their future.
My name is Shafali. I'm an associate clinical social worker and a case manager here at Da Vinci RISE, a place called home. As a case manager, one of the things that I do is I provide individual counseling and therapy to students who both have IEPs and who don't have IEPs. I also do one-on-one check-ins with all of our students, and during those check-ins, I see if they're struggling with any mental health challenges and how I can be of support. We also lean into students' rich support networks that they have outside of the school, and I also assess for any unmet needs and provide linkage to community resources to meet those needs. I also assist with crisis intervention. So for mental health crises, I do risk assessments and set safety plans. And when there are behavioral crises or fights that break out, I work closely with our behaviorist and our academic team to see how we can put in plans to support our students with a restorative justice approach. So what I love about RISE is its emphasis on restorative justice and on being trauma-informed, especially because many of our students have varying degrees of complex trauma.
Today's a really exciting day for us. We are hosting Assemblymember Isaac Bryan and a representative from Senator Kamlager's office. We have a lot of students here being able to tell their stories and how RISE has impacted their journey and why RISE deserves to be a resource for not only students within Los Angeles County, but really nationally.
Students, because of your truth and things that you've brought, the good and the bad, right? Like we learned how to handle the situations that y'all bring in, and then it helps us handle the next kid who brings in a similar situation.
Before RISE, I was just going and like in this little box. Started coming here, and I felt like, well, I can actually complete something now. And like with the help of my amazing teachers, amazing case managers, you know, I feel like I have support to do anything I want to do.
I think a school like RISE is important because our students need the services. We provide wraparound services at RISE, so we're not strictly concerned about their academics, but their academics are absolutely on our radar, and we are definitely teaching them to earn their credits, to think critically, but at the same time, in order to free them up to do that, they're gonna need those extra services, what we call wraparound services, to support them in that process.
In the regular schools I used to go to, like, they didn't care about the kids at all. I'm like, I need glasses. Like I'm telling y'all, I need glasses. I couldn't see. I'm like, all I saw was blurry, like I'm seeing now. I came here with a closed mind, like these people not gonna help me. So I came here and Miss Kaya was like, first things first, we give you glasses. And I was like, yeah, right, you gonna give me some glasses. And then we went to the appointment and it really started showing. And so I was like all I needed was a little boost. Like I was a bad kid, supposedly. But the truth is, I just needed help seeing. I would say what makes RISE a very special place is that everyone that is a part of the RISE community, we all engage with our students and create a family home setting for them. It's all about not just academics, but definitely ensuring that we are helping support the whole child holistically.
My first 3 years of high school, I really felt like a robot, but RISE was really that was the first time where I felt like a human. The staff really was like a family. I want this to be nationwide.
Every day it's just a subtle reminder of how effective the program has been for me. This presentation thing, I would always in high school, I used to skip weeks at a time just so I didn't have to present, or I would run to the bathroom right when my name was about to be called because I didn't want to present. Even though it's a little 2-minute speech, it's something to see how far the confidence has brought me. With the program growing, it definitely could be an advantage to a lot of students.
The state has a budget of $270 billion. And my job is to make sure that our district gets as much of that as we possibly can. I also get to change some of the laws about how we do stuff and why we do stuff the way we do stuff. I tell you that because I'm also the youngest Black Assembly member in the state. I just turned 30 a couple weeks ago. I know that's real old to some of y'all. It's not to HG. There's only been 54 Black elected officials at the state level in California's whole history. I told you all the good stuff because I failed out of middle school. And I tell you all that because your journey is your journey. And whatever it takes to get you where you need to go, it's gonna be different for every one of you. Except for the fact that RISE is playing a big part. And I appreciate you all sharing that with me.
Students, one, I think it goes without saying, we wouldn't be anything without y'all. From alumni to existing students to new students to old students, we learn from every single one of you. And so every time one of you walks in the door or walks across the stage, we become a better school. So we are deeply grateful for you. Y'all are RISE.
Hi everyone, I'm Lyda Jennings, the Executive Director of Teach for America Los Angeles, or TFA LA as we like to call it. I can't tell you how excited I am to be part of this event. I want to start by thanking the very talented Dr. Carla McCullough, who is an alum of Spelman College and of Teach for America Los Angeles. She's a former high school principal, she's a CEO of her own company, and she's the director of the Movie and the Movement College Reunion. Carla, thank you for inviting TFA LA to be here and for your continued commitment to educational equity. And thanks to all of you for caring enough about our city students to participate in this telethon event. I never thought I'd be that lucky to be in a telethon, but here we are. At TFA LA, our first promise is to students that regardless of race, income, or social identity, they will have an excellent teacher who provides them an opportunity for them to learn, lead, and thrive. We recruit outstanding and diverse leaders to teach for 2 years in a public school where they work with the students who are most impacted by educational inequity and oppression. Now, we refer to these teachers as core members, and our core members receive resources, training, ongoing coaching, and professional development from our local team so they're able to make a difference from day one in the classroom. Now, after our core members finish their first 2 years, they become Teach for America alums. But that's just the beginning of their impact. Many continue teaching while others expand opportunities for students as advocates and leaders across a wide range of sectors. Since 1990, we've placed almost 4,000 transformative teachers in schools across LA. And we continue to do this work today, connecting passionate, diverse educators with the students who need them the most. And this year, we have 190 core members teaching in LA schools. 80% of them identify as BIPOC, and 68% are actually from LA. Now just imagine if growing up, you'd had several teachers that shared your identity and lived experience. Now that's true for the students of color that we serve. Today's event brings together two of our city's most powerful forces, the entertainment industry and Teach for America. There is little overlap on the surface, I know, but both industries are fueled by passionate people driven to make dreams come true. Carla is not the only alum we have in LA who is working across both fields. Alumni of TFA are truly everywhere, across all sectors and at all levels in our City of Angels. You really can't go very far without bumping into one of us. It's not an exaggeration to say that a great teacher can change a student's life. Many of you know this from your own experience. This is why we work particularly hard to recruit, retain, and support BIPOC educators who share the background of their future students. Teachers of color affect all students positively, especially Black and Brown students, who currently make up 81% of LA Unified student body. A same-race teacher can positively impact a student's test scores, a student's grades, that student's likelihood of graduating high school, and their attendance record. Right now, you're working on attendance. More specifically, you're doing important work making calls to help get chronically absent students back in school. And we're ensuring they have a teacher they can identify with, one who inspires them to continue their educational journey. Student and teacher retention are top priorities for everyone in our education ecosystem these days. Our core members and alumni educators show up for students in every way possible and build strong relationships with their students, families, their communities, and within their schools, because they know creating a more equitable education system requires building meaningful partnerships. No one can do this alone, which is why Carla has asked all of you for your help. Now, a perfect example is our partnership with another organization here today, the Diversity and Leadership Institute. We partner with them to increase the number of Black and Brown principals through their Aspiring Principals of Color Fellowship and work hard to make this opportunity available to as many TFA alumni as possible. We not only need more teachers of color, we need more principals of color. Through other partnerships, we get to watch some of our fantastic alumni at work. Da Vinci Rise High School, founded and led by TFA alumni, meets the unique needs of youth navigating foster care, housing instability, and probation. And then there's Tanya Ortiz Franklin, the LA Unified Board of Education member who put forward the district's Black Student Achievement Plan with the support of the Diversity and Leadership Institute, which was approved in 2021 and is funded by money directed away from the LA Unified Police Force. Or there's Catherine Borek, an English teacher at Dominguez High in Compton, who reestablished the school's drama club and together with her students has collaborated with LA Opera, starred in a Keurig commercial, and even published a play. Now I could go on and on about our partners, our core members, our alumni leaders who are changing the game for students, particularly our most vulnerable kids in LA. But I've already given you a lot to think about. So just know that we need you, all of us who are participating today, to ensure students can lead lives of true choice. From all of us here at Teach for America Los Angeles, thank you for helping get students back in school so they can continue their journey as learners and leaders.
Hi.
Hi, Kendrick.
How are you doing, Miss
Good.
Johnson?
Oh my God, Kendrick Michael Jones. How you doing, honey?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm staring. I can't believe it.
Likewise, you still look the same.
I look the same.
So tell me about your career and tell me about your journey with Teach for America.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So 2002 is when I joined the TFA Corps, and Teach for America came to our campus. At the time, they would do on-campus recruitment. So they came, I went to the informational, and I was impressed. I was not an education major. I was a psychology major with a world religion emphasis minor.
Why did you join Teach for America in Los Angeles specifically?
I mean, I had to come back home,
right?
And so after throwing it out there and seeing if Teach for America would place me in LA, once they did, I just was so excited. And for me, when I applied to Teach for America, I even put in my essay at the end, like one of my final sentences was, I said, who better than me?
Right.
I'm from South LA. At the time, totally tried to skirt saying that I was from South LA because it was just constantly like, oh, do you know Snoop Dogg? Oh, okay. You may not, you don't know how to hold a fork. All the people's expectations of me. Just coming back to LA gave me an opportunity to influence people in my community, to ensure that my community had an opportunity to rebrand itself. And so I guess they read it and they were like, okay. So they gave me a chance and then here I am 20 years later. Just when you have an opportunity just to plant good seeds, you don't know where they're going to fly, right? Seeds carry. Now with you, sir.
Okay.
Hi, Kendrick.
Hi.
Why did you join TFA?
Wow.
Besides to blow my mind.
I joined Teach for America because I had an amazing teacher such as yourself, and when I was in the 5th grade. However, afterwards, all of the teachers that I had unfortunately did not look like me. And that was something that is a narrative that we constantly see in urban education, especially when it comes down to Black men. We are very low when it comes down to representation in classrooms. So I wanted to be different. I wanted to give students a fair representation of a Black male teacher in their classroom. I saw the opportunity to join, and I took a leap of faith, and I got accepted.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know what type of teacher you were for me, but what kind of educator were you striving to be?
But you knew me back then, and it was all about just, are you being yourself?
Right.
Are you showing up authentically today? And because we had so many weights and heavy burdens that I just wanted to be a place where my students felt safe. Because when you're safe, you can learn, right? When you're safe, you can fly. At the end of the day, I knew that once you came to school, that was really all I could control. I can't control what happens when you go home or what happens on the yard, but I would always say, bring your full self or check yourself at the door, right? And just create an atmosphere where we could all just thrive together. I just wanted my scholars to be able to have choice and just to feel safe, right? So that would be the best way I could sum it up. And of course, I pushed y'all hard. You know. I was relentless. What can I say? What kind of teacher do you hope to be?
If I can be half of the teacher that you were for me and my classmates, I think that I will be doing a good job. I remember, especially when we were going through all the things that we were going through back then, it was a lack of understanding of me culturally. And I felt like in the classrooms, a lot of teachers don't really focus on us as cultural individuals.
Yes.
They more so focus on us as students and then also as standards. And I didn't want that for my students because that's not what you gave me. So that's the type of teacher that I would like to be.
Oh, stop it. Oh my God, that was too much right there.
What were your goals for your students like me?
I mean, Kendrick. I mean, president, honestly, commitment to whatever you needed to ensure that if you needed support, I was there when I could be there throughout your journey.
Right.
So many scholars don't get a choice.
They don't.
You know, it's like, oh, I only got into one school.
Right.
Congratulations.
Right.
But having an opportunity to have gotten into multiple schools allows you to sit back and have a completely different type of processing.
Right.
And that's success. What are your hopes for your students or students in general for the future?
One day, my students will be able to walk into a classroom and see themselves positively reflected in the curriculum and the lessons that they're learning, rather than constantly being reminded of the oppressive history that they come from as it relates to this culture and in this society. Oftentimes, teachers try to teach students from historically marginalized backgrounds by implementing their histories from this society standpoint, but they did not realize that in them doing that, they were actually reminding me of the trauma of my culture.
Come on.
I want to make sure that my students are able to see themselves positively. It helps them engage more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What type of influence can a great teacher have on their students?
They can have a lasting influence. I would say that the influence that you had on me
Don't make me cry.
would be that you taught me about college, you taught me about higher education, you taught me about HBCUs, you exposed me to a different world of how African American students are reflected in this world. It always comes back down to that one teacher had an influence, and that's you. So.
I can't.
It's the foundation.
This is why we do it. This is why we let our edges go through. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens when you support Teach for America. You have an opportunity to see the pipeline like this close and also to make teachers really excited.
Hey everyone, my name is Cedric Jones. I'm a Teach for America Bay Area alumni, and I currently serve as the Director of Core Cultivation and Retention at Teach for America Los Angeles. The crux of my role is to make sure that we are able to bring in teachers to fill the many teacher vacancies that are taking place within Los Angeles and the county at large. And I do not take my job lightly. It is very important for me to make sure that students have a qualified teacher in front of them on the very first day of school. And I think in many ways, if you've ever had a substitute teacher or a long-term sub, you understand how important it is to make sure that you have that dedicated adult in front of you each and every day as you are a student. On top of making sure that we're able to bring in qualified folks, it is very important to me and our chapter to make sure that we are able to bring in teachers that reflect the demographics of the communities in which our students are from. So what drives my work truly is looking at the demographics of the county, the demographics of Los Angeles itself, and then also the demographics of the districts and charter management organizations that we partner with to make sure that each cycle we're able to bring in teachers that mirror the communities in which our students are from. And in doing so, here in LA, we've done a lot of work in having pipeline projects. One of them is with our instructional aides and our paraprofessionals that are already working within the schools in which we serve, but supporting those folks who are predominantly of color be able to enter teaching roles as the lead teacher rather than being an instructional aide, as we know that those folks are the culture keepers, the folks that know our school's history and deserve to have a higher leadership position within the school. We also are seeking out folks who are homegrown, who are from Los Angeles, whether they have went abroad or whether they are coming back to serve in their former school communities or within communities in which they have affinity to within the city of Los Angeles. And then on top of that, we want to make sure that we're able to bring in other folks of color, specifically Black folks from historically Black colleges and universities, into our classrooms in Los Angeles as well, as we know that it is very important that our students feel represented by the folks who are teaching them. And so I actually am asking you all today, if you are someone who is interested in doing social justice work, someone who wants to work with students of color, specifically Black youth, we highly, highly encourage you and invite you to apply to Teach for America, specifically the Los Angeles region, by going to teachforamerica.org/join-us. Not only would it ensure that we have another qualified folk in front of our Black youth here in Los Angeles, but it would ensure that we are doing our due diligence in making sure that students are getting what they need by having someone who looks like them lead their education. On top of just inviting you to apply, here at TFA, we also have put aside financial incentives where if you are applying to Teach for America, we are able to provide you with up to $24,000 in both transitional support as well as educational support through our AmeriCorps grant and our transitional support program. We also have a Black Educators Promise grant provided by a donor who also sees the importance of making sure that we're able to increase the amount of Black educators in which we have a part of our corps. As a former Black teacher myself, and in this work of recruiting Black teachers, I recognize that while I was in the classroom, I was only one or a part of 3% of Black male educators in this country, which has driven us to partner with organizations such as the Teachers Village that is focused on targeting and supporting Black male educators within support roles be able to attain their teaching credential. So again, if you are interested in joining this movement, we highly encourage you to go to teachforamerica.org/join-us, and I look forward to connecting with you further.
Okay, so I'm starting to get it. College Reunion is a movie, but because the movie has college attendance at the center, you all are activating the movement now, even before you make the movie.
Exactly. College Reunion is more than a movie. It's a movement that everyone everywhere can get behind. We will all either pay for or profit from what our children become. So pick up the phone and call a student back to school today. Our future depends on it.
I know a few students that need to be called. They need to be back to school ASAP.
Awesome.
Hey folks, this is Dr. Kiana O'Leary, proud CEO of Menti Educational Services, here to invite you to the 2023 Equity Ingenuity Conference. That's right, it's going down here in H-Town on April 1st, 2023 at the University of Houston. We're so delighted as we celebrate and honor educators and administrators who are leading and facilitating the charge of equity-centered education in their classrooms and on their campuses. And we have a special treat as Dr. Bettina Love will be this year's keynote speaker. At the end of this video, be sure to scan the QR code so that you can register and save your seat. We bring greetings of Southern hospitality. We're going to have some fun, and we can't wait to have you here in Houston, Texas.
I think there's two things that you hit on, Goldie, is that idea, like, they're spirit murdering our babies.
Yeah.
Right. Every day you walk into the classroom with all of these things that Goldie and Dee have talked about, and it's on you. That murders your spirit daily. And then the other thing that I would say is that it's something that I've heard social justice lawyer, social movement lawyer, Derek Parnell say, this idea of managing inequality. That's what we do in education. We want to manage the inequality. So we have positions, we have directors, we have all these things that manage the inequality. We all know we have the inequality, but we're not in the business of eradicating. We're not in the business of removing the inequality. We're in the business of just managing the inequality. So in a state like Georgia, they have an award that you get called Beating the Odds. They actually give you an award if you are a school that can beat the odds. That's white supremacy. So you're going to sit here and tell me, here are all the things that I know that get into your way. And some of the odds that they say is class, low income, areas where there's a lot of folks who come in and out, race. So you have all these things that you know are barriers. And instead of removing the barriers, you rather measure me against the barriers. And so what we're concerned about doing in education is truly managing inequality. You got to be down with this. Abolitionist teaching is a way of life. It's not what you do in the classroom. It's who you are. Your very being has to be changed. And so we're not just talking about you come in the classroom, you got your Rashid had 2 apples, Keisha had 3 apples. How many apples did they have? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about that you understand, believe the history and the knowledge and the ingenuity and the creativity and the beauty of Black people deep in your soul. And you don't got to be Black to understand that.
There are some folks who've been asking me questions about the Equity Ingenuity Conference. And so I took a few questions and decided that I'm going to answer them here live with you. So this is unscripted, unedited. I'm just going to be raw and uncut so that you guys can hear from my heart why we decided to have the Equity Ingenuity Conference. So first question we have here, my little question bucket, is what to expect if I attend the conference? That's a really good question. We want to make this experience more like a workcation, right? So we're having it here in the beautiful city of Houston, where we have so many good Southern cuisine areas to eat. We have a beautiful nightlife. We have just beautiful, beautiful people who are so hospitable and want to welcome you and embrace you. So aside from the conference, we will have some opportunities for those who attend to connect, to network, to engage, exchange ideas. We want you to have a little fun while you're here in Houston on workcation after we have the conference. Great question. Next question here. Let's see, let's get a good one. This question says, why did you begin the Equity Ingenuity Conference? Good question. I was tired of going to educational conferences that really focus on equity, but the people who were the boots on ground weren't the ones leading the discussions or facilitating the conversations. And so I wanted to have a space where educators who are in the classroom, principal and school leaders who are leading the charge, where we hear from them, right? The practitioners who are doing the work in the K-12 landscape. And so at the Equity Ingenuity Conference, the way it's set up is we have folks who are going to receive an Equity Warrior Award, and those awardees will have 10 to 15 minutes to have, as you will, their own platform or TED Talk, as you may have it, to really discuss what are some of the practices, the policies, and some of the things they have in place to really, really, really uplift equity-centered education in their classrooms and on their campuses. So yes, we wanted to create a dynamic space for our soldiers on the ground, our boots on the ground, who are actually in the classrooms, on the campuses, doing the work, versus hearing from our theorists or some of our scholars who are researching the work, but may not be the practitioners. All right, next question. What is Minty Educational Services? I'll give you the short story. In 2020, after walking away from my practice as a school principal, I decided to take some time to really get back to my own core values and to really identify who I was, not just as a school leader, but as an educator, as a mom, as a community member. And so I opened up Minty Educational Services after watching the movie Harriet, when and at that point I learned that Harriet's original name, or her birth certificate name, was Arminta, and her family called her Minty for short. So really inspired by Harriet's story, really gave me the liberation and the empowerment to open up an educational firm where we provide diversity, equity, and inclusive training to teachers, educators. And then for students, we provide them with student agency training, which really empowers them to have voice and to really take ownership of their own educational experiences. And so we train and we get the opportunity of meeting educators all over the nation. And that is how and what Minty Educational Services offers, amongst other services such as webinars that we host, and then again the conference that we are hosting. Good questions. Last question from one of our audience members is, will you be speaking at the conference? I actually will be speaking at the conference. I have somewhere around here my new book, which is Lead with Truth. And I will be speaking a little bit about the inspiration of what it is to be a leader who uses truth as a companion, as a friend, to kind of talk to truth. What are your truths? What is your identity? What do you bring to the table? What are your assets that are uniquely you, so that you can walk in empowerment to be 100% you 100% of the time. And when you lead with truth, that means you are unapologetic in who you are, and you're not there to minimize who you are by acclimating to what is already present, but you're to bring your flavor, bring your values, and bring your truth to the table. And so I look forward to really talking a little bit about the book, a little bit about my own experience as a truth leader, and really encouraging folks to be truth leaders and spark the truth in them. The books will be for sale, as well as new merchandise and t-shirts at the conference, and we look to see you there. Hey, if you have any questions, please feel free to send them in. You can email us at info@mentyes.org. We'll take your questions, and hopefully we'll have another opportunity to host this segment, Questions with the CEO. Thank you, and it's been a pleasure. Bye-bye for now.
College Reunion is more than a movie, it's a movement. In addition to creating an entertaining film, our mission is threefold. Within the film production and surrounding promotions, we will uplift Black women and spotlight HBCUs. Throughout this process, we will support students in K-12, specifically by highlighting nonprofits that help students get through their educational journey and on the path to their own college reunion. We can only do this mission-driven work with your help. Donate today to our tax-deductible budget. Your donation ensures that we can make a quality film and that we can include you in the process as we go. So keep watching to learn more and donate. Every dollar matters.
Do you believe in me? Do you believe that every single one of us can graduate? What we need from you is to believe that we can reach our highest potential. We need you to believe in us. Can do anything, be anything, create anything, dream anything, become anything.
Picasso once said this. He said that all children are born artists. The problem is to remain an artist as we grow up. We don't grow into creativity, we grow out of it. We are educating people out of their creative capacities. We have to rethink the fundamental principles on which we're educating our children. Creativity now is as important in education as literacy. Creativity is the process of having original ideas that have value. All kids have tremendous talents, and our task is to educate their whole being by seeing our creative capacities for the richness they are, and seeing our children for the hope that they are.
Scene 1B, take 2.
We the People makes me feel happy and joyful. My teachers are awesome and funny. We the People is different from my other school because it's small, but it's awesome and good people who care.
When Avi was ready to transition from homeschooling to regular school, we had a list of charter schools we wanted to visit. We the People was the first one, and needless to say, it was the last one we saw. As parents, we were looking for a school that would continue to nurture her love of learning. I'm happy to say that Avi, and along with several of her peers, are currently attending Long Beach City College. Without a doubt, we know that this was the best decision we made as a family, and we will continue to support their school.
Miles went to it first year, 2021. He loved it. He liked the activities, the things that they did. He flourished. And it's hard to even get him to not want to come when he's sick. Since he's been in the school, he's done like a poetry slam. He's been going out with friends. He's just utilizing everything he got from the school.
My name is Avi Garcia and I'm a 10th grader at We the People High School. I was very reluctant to start high school, being homeschooled all my life, but looking back, it was a great decision. My school has supported my goals and made them possible, and I'm very thankful for the environment I'm in because it feels like I'm able to achieve so much. Throughout my time at We the People, I've maintained my love for learning and have been exposed to so much more. With many opportunities having been presented to me, like being able to attend Long Beach City College, I'm very grateful to be a student at We the People.
It's really important in our summer programming this year and our partnership with Chris Handles Franklin to find a way to tie together his basketball experience and years in the entertainment industry with my years in the entertainment industry and background in film production.
I learned a lot about film and production. It's made me realize that this is really one of my passions and something I truly want to pursue in my future.
What was really important to us is that the students involved had hands-on experience and that hand-on experience would lead to something that they could walk away with and be proud of.
I definitely want to continue making videos, movies, whatever it is.
We wanted to give the students a well-rounded understanding of everything that takes place behind the camera.
As a filmmaker, I'm usually used to doing things by myself, so now being able to work with a team is really exciting.
We wanted the kids to have an experience this summer that allowed them to try out these different components, everything from green screen and the technology that goes behind that. They learned about making music and recording and engineering.
It was a great experience. We were able to push into Music Man, multimedia. It was just really, really great getting a chance to see those students going into a podcast, audio recording room, learning a song, learning the hook, and executing. And I'm grateful for Levels Ready Entertainment to also be included.
Sound is one of the most important things when we talk about film and music and entertainment. Not just music production and making the beats, but also sound design, mixing, editing.
Students also learned about culinary with Chef Kim Williams.
Through film, we showed that craft services, the actors have to eat, the staff has to eat, everyone has to be fed, and there has to be someone who knows how to do that on all types of scales, and it's a skill to learn.
Students work to create their own music video. When Chris and I partnered up, we knew that we wanted to deal with unity because it's something that we know really needs to happen. So the concept came of UNITY by Queen Latifah. So the students quickly came up with the concept of anti-bullying. They met and had production meetings. I mean, they really came up with some creative things, even flying drones for their shots. The summer's been absolutely amazing. One of the highlights of our programming was our Direct Connect program. And in the Direct Connect program, It's really important to give students hands-on experience in the real world, working in an industry. I mean, the truth of the matter is that I could stand in front of them and explain how things are on set, how protocol and all that, and none of it would matter unless they actually really did it. We're very excited to partner with Chris Handles Franklin for our Direct Connect program. Through Chris Franklin and Handles and Sampson, we were able to get students real-world experiences ranging from red carpet events and interviewing celebrities like Scarface, D.L. Hughley.
I never imagined that I would have interviewed like someone as big as him, especially like one of my first interviews. It was really cool, and I definitely stepped outside of my comfort zone.
It was also exciting to get students out into the field and film a live concert, especially with one of my favorites, Drew Hill. We also had a chance to partner with YPOC and Open Stage for the filming of Black Newsbeat episode, where students were live on set and able to help run a live show and a 3-camera setup and a real live experience. That's something you can't teach unless students actually do it.
I always wanted to be part of the experience, and I'm so glad that I was given the opportunity to be a part of the experience.
The vision for the Direct Connect programming in the future is to get these students as production assistants on set, on major motion pictures, and getting them involved firsthand, whether that be concerts or events or event coverage. Our goal is to get students out there and directly plug them in. The trade-off program has been amazing. Trade-off means trade offering a future in film. We were glad to partner with Coexist Space, where students learned about mosaic and tile building. They also learned about glass blowing and mask making.
The mosaic and the glass blowing instill a sense of pride and also a sense of ownership in the community.
It gives kids a different outlet. It gives them different options. It shows them that they don't have to be in a box.
All these are skill trades that you would see behind the scenes. We're also excited for our partners at Evolve Trade.
It's a gateway for sustainability.
Kids took those skills that they learned from doing mosaic and they were transferable to learning how to do a backsplash.
Because the kids use mosaic tiling and they made that connection that this is something that they could see in their homes.
When kids learn trades at an early age, it gives them the ability to have different options when they grow up.
But it ties together because we're looking at the trades when it comes to tiling, but now we're looking at the arts when it comes to that mosaic and creativity and how they can use those two and how they intertwine.
So when we think about trade, it doesn't have to be something that just kind of rests on its own. FACS's goal is to be really intentional in bridging the gap.
But it allows students to now look into other areas of maybe their interests. Maybe they want to get into filming, maybe they want to get into production.
When it comes to trade-off, if you know how to build a set, you know how to build a house. You know how to do electricity on a set, then you can do it in the real world.
Building a stage, a set, will allow them the opportunity to explore the possibilities.
Our biggest thing is to be the connector and bring these opportunities together.
So what's next, you ask? Quite a lot. This is actually where we commence, meaning that this is just the beginning. As second semester gets underway for many schools, we want each of you to continue to call students in your village back to school. Education really is the thing that will change the world, and this begins in K-12. Remember, with your help, any child that wants to can one day have their own college reunion. Continue to call students, continue to donate, and join us back on this channel in February to begin following our production journey. After all, we are making a movie, and with your help, we're changing the world.